Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Legend of Zelda, Princess of All Cosmos. In this part, we get backstory!
Yeah, the mid-Zelda game plot dump.
Yep. Yeah, but this one is, like, super dumpy, because it goes for, like, a good 10 minutes, so...
It has to
This
be,
whole
because
part.
up until this point they haven't really done anything to foreshadow Ganondorf being in the game at all.
And they won't do
Yeah.
anything after this to foreshadow Ganondorf being in the game either.
Yeah, this is the only thing.
I mean, to be fair, it's kind of random that they just bring up Ganondorf here and give him a big new design and a major scene and whatnot without him, like, so you expect him to show up. He's not, they weren't going to animate something like that if he wasn't going to be in the game. I think it's more the way that that Ganondorf was brought into the game than his mere presence that's the problem. I mean, granted, I know that a lot of people are upset that he exists at all, but he could have been done better and it wouldn't have felt as weird. They could have made him not completely undermine the Zant as the villain and whatnot.
Sigh. That's my big beef.
Yeah.
That is the part for me.
Oh yeah, no, they definitely do not do a great job with him, but it's
And then for some reason they use that version of him for like so many different games going forward, and I think it's like one of his worst designs.
oh, I like the Twilight Princess.
I don't mind the
Ganondorf
design.
Like,
I like a lot of other designs better.
honestly, he's only had 4 designs and 3 that are canon. Because the Hyrule Warriors design's the best one, but that's not canon. So
agree.
so there's this one, the
He
Wind
was
Waker
really cool
one.
in Hyrule Warriors.
The Wind Waker one doesn't really fit with any of the other art styles. So that just leaves this one and the Ocarina of Time one. And honestly, I don't like the Ocarina of Time one very much. Even the modern adaptations of it. Because it just looks kind of goofy looking, you know?
I'm the opposite. I find this one kind of goofy looking.
Not... I like what...
With the overly ornate head thing and...
Yeah, to me, it's the hairstyle I don't jive with.
Like, I don't know, the nose on Ganondorf in the Ocarina of Time one is just...
He
Oh,
looks,
no.
He looks even...
The mirror is
dun,
broken.
dun.
Someone has 7 years bad luck. That's
It's
my
not gonna
bad
be
luck.
me.
I was gonna break that mirror. Now what are we gonna do for fun, Link?
I mean, the dungeon wasn't fun? No.
I mean, I've got a ladder we can walk under if you want.
You know, find some black
Just love for these
cats.
sages to show up here just to say, yeah, sorry about that. And then they just disappear.
So these guys are really kind of random. Like,
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
their design's also weird too, like with the faces hanging off, you know, and whatnot. I do like
And
the
their random hands.
Oh yeah, I do like the detail that I think one of them has like a face that's injured or whatnot because one of them got hurt by Ganondorf, I think, in the cutscene.
Yeah.
So that's a neat detail, I suppose. But
I like how the hands are behind the sleeves and...
Yeah, the hands kind of throw me off.
The only thing I could think to justify them is kind of a later on because Breath of the Wild takes place after this game, timeline-wise, so I guess they're kind of the equivalents of like the Shrine guys.
I mean, that could have worked, but they certainly weren't thinking that when they wrote it.
Yeah, I know that. I'm just saying.
So since this is supposed to be the same Ganondorf as the one in Ocarina of Time, they just...
Well, they're all the same Ganondorf.
Yeah, but like it's not reincarnated at all. It's like literally this is supposed to be...
No,
right-
every Ganondorf is the same Ganondorf.
No, but I mean, like, this is supposed to be right after Link goes back in time in Ocarina of Time. So they just, like, let him grow a full beard and get a new set of armor in between putting him in prison and whatnot is more what I'm thinking about. It's like, wow.
He crafted it out of magic.
I wonder if magic has a similar texture to polyester.
Maybe.
styrofoam sword, though.
But these guys are supposed to be sages, though, right?
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Are they the
Yeah.
sages of the world? The sages of Twilight?
They don't say.
They're,
They don't say, because the sages in
I-
Ocarina of Time were,
Different races and all that.
all them, all them, and like these
I
guys
think
look
they're
all
kind of implied to be the
homogenous.
same stages, but just they overhauled the design, obviously, because when you go back, they have all the same symbols.
Impa got really
Like in the
mad
other
at all
part
of
of
them
the-
because they all pranked her at one time, and then she literally chopped off all of their faces. But she felt bad about it, so she then chopped her own off for solidarity. I mean, a lot of stuff about Ganon in this I do think is effective, like visually. Like, for example, how he has kind of the boar fangs in that image there. It's just it's only a couple of instances. The rest of it is just kind of like, mwahaha.
Also, he has the biggest fucking mouth in this game.
Yeah.
Like, he could be a midway game with how wide he can open it.
Oh no! Bright lights!
Kingdom Hearts, etc., etc.
I'm not gonna try to jump out of the way. And then we never see him again. Yay?
Okay, but who's the sage that died?
Who cares?
One of them.
Oh wait, I think maybe
They'll
one of the
find
sages
another.
is missing instead of one of them looks hurt. Okay, never mind. And yeah, and his thing
Yeah,
is
there he
broken.
is.
Okay. But yeah, so I mean, when I mean, granted, I have the benefit of having known about the plot twist when I played the game, so I knew Ganondorf was going to show up. But I think even then, with a scene that that obvious, I think it would have been expected for him to show up. You know, I feel like they could have done it way better. Like, actually, you know what? I was thinking about this between recording sessions. And one game that I actually think that does it in a really interesting way is Link Between Worlds, because it's a similar kind of plan there where Yuga's trying to summon Ganon and, use his power and whatnot. But in that game, it doesn't feel like as much of a cop-out because Yuga actually succeeds. Like, Yuga successfully takes over Ganon and absorbs his power and doesn't even, it's not even, implied that he loses control over it during the fight or anything like that. He just, straight up is using Ganon's abilities and stuff then. So, maybe something somewhat similar would have been interesting if they were going for that. Oh, I forgot that I was using the Zelda Link to the Past.
Now, let's take our new item for a spin.
Dude, they've all been puns. If you some of them are really bad. Like during the first set of backtracking, they're awful puns. Go back and look at them.
Don't
Watch
sound
those old
so
video
proud.
games. Like, comment, and
I'm
subscribe.
morbidly curious.
Like one of them was "Let's go Eld into some cave." Let's Kakariko go to the village was a few of them.
Oh my god.
Don't
Yeah, they were
sound so
bad.
proud.
I am proud because you're annoyed about it. Oh wait, oops.
Wrong button. Sorry. Oh!
Ooh, two of them.
One thing that I also do like though is that you're not likely to miss this cave because you're fighting a Poe right outside of it. So you're going to see the senses.
Cancelled.
The senses. Oh my god, really? You're likely to see the senses thing in the ground, so you're not likely to miss this one, which I think is a good way to design it,
Yeah, that's true. Also, that scythe almost took off Link's head.
He's fine.
It is very, very,
He's got
very close shave.
he's got 8 hearts left. He's good.
It's such a close shave, it
It
cut
was
his head
very
off.
violent looking.
Let's see. Okay.
Alright, time to cave in this entire area and then crush under rubble. Yeah.
Link's worst enemy was himself all along.
Is that a surprise or
Not really.
yeah?
No, we already fought Dark Link in Zelda 2.
And Ocarina of Time.
And
And Ocarina of Time, yeah.
So one thing that's also interesting is this game does have Dark Link, but just in a cutscene. You don't actually fight him at all, which I suppose is surprising.
That kind of is surprising, actually. He just kind of shows up to be a little bit ominous and then poofs.
Yeah, well, we don't want this game to be too much like Ocarina of Time.
No, we'll just take all the bad things and then...
I mean, honestly, I think that it does pay a lot of homages to Ocarina of Time, but I do feel like
It does.
I do feel like it does try to.
You got the sad Midna stamp.
Oh, sad Midna. Oh, the mirror's broken, and that makes me sad.
It tries to change things up in subtle ways, I guess is the best way to put it. So it doesn't feel as, like, blatant, I guess, which normally I prefer. Like, I like it, you know, if instead of doing the same thing over and over again, if after a while it's just a twist on what they've done. You know, I find that interesting, but I can understand that people might have wanted it to be maybe a little bit more different, because I feel like people haven't turned around as much on Twilight Princess as they have on Majora's Mask
Like Wind Waker?
or Wind Waker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, granted, people I still think, because every Zelda game goes through this, oh my gosh, it's the best game ever, and oh my gosh, this is the worst game ever, and then actually,
Zelda
no,
cycle,
it was
yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Zelda cycle happens for each game. I feel like while people have lightened up on it a lot, there wasn't the same, like, oh my gosh, this is actually one of the best games in the franchise.
I feel like, honestly,
changes.
for Twilight Princess, at least in, like, the circles that I was around when it first came out, it kind of went backwards, because instead of a knee-jerk reaction of, like, why is this terrible, and then, oh, it's not that bad, it kind of went the opposite way of, like, everyone was freaking out about this being a perfect game. At least everyone that I knew was just like, oh man, Twilight Princess is like the perfectest thing ever. How can they ever improve on this? And then slowly over time, I realized, like, people started being a little bit more,
No, Ted.
What are you talking about?
being a little bit more critical of it.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. That's more what I noticed for Twilight Princess.
That sounds like some other games I could mention, like BioShock Infinite.
Oh yeah, BioShock Infinite, people have really turned around on that game in
Yeah.
recent years. Like,
I've never played that one, but I definitely have seen the attitude shift of that.
because it got tons and tons of praise, like, critically when it came out, and everybody loved it. And then, like, 5 years later, I think people have just kind of
There were
completely
a few
around.
people, one or two big name critics, that kind of thing, who pointed out problems with it early on, who were kind of just written off by a lot of people as being, you know, contrarian. But
Yeah, that makes sense, because the infamous 8 out of 8 review was actually in regards to Twilight Princess. A lot of people.
Yeah, and that was just the one. That was the one GameSpot review, I believe.
Yeah, and people got really mad that it didn't get a perfect score, even though an 8.8 is still a great score. But this is why scoring systems.
Well,
for
there's
reviews
only
are
the
bad.
as Ted, as you know, there's only the 3-point scale.
Yeah, 7 is mediocre, 8 is okay, and 9 and
Okay.
10 are perfect, obviously.
Yeah.
So, you know, if it's a 6 or lower, you shouldn't even bother, is what we're saying. So,
I mean, that's how it works. So
yeah, I mean, granted, that's why I just don't like many scoring systems in general. At least the ones that try to go for, like, numbers and stuff like that.
then if you try to go for a proper scoring system, what you'll wind up doing is turning people away from games that are pretty good, because they're reading you like the 3-point scale.
Well, people only see a number.
Yeah, a lot of people hate when reviewers don't have scores, because they'll just jump straight to the end of the review and see, like, okay, I just want to know what out of 10 is this.
I mean, that's where you put a TLDR. TLDR, I like it, but this, but also it's good.
Yeah, but that, you know what, that even that's too long. We need to know that it's an 8. All right.
Oh, that's people's fault for not wanting to read.
You should have called this episode The Legend of Zelda Princess of Persia.
We'll save that. I'll save that one for a future part. Okay.
I need to do like up with kicks. Backwards.
Well, okay.
Aw.
Oh, I thought you were showing off.
I think I wasn't meaning to get on backwards, but when I did, I wanted to moonwalk, but then I think Link turned around on his own because the camera shifted. So, yeah.
It was funny because this is Breath of the Wild Link. You have no problem here.
Oh no, like Breath of the Wild Link would just be able to skip all this bullshit.
Unless it was raining.
Oh yeah, no, if it's raining then we're just absolutely boned, you know? Like God.
That's where you go. That's when you go and stay at a fire.
Well, you see, the annoying thing
Take a
about when
nap.
it's raining is that the rain will put the fire out.
Well, not if you go underneath of
Something.
a tree or something.
What I really wish they did with that game is if, you slipped during like normal clothes and stuff, but it was a perk of like wearing the whole climber set.
I do wish that were a thing. Like, I don't even mind the rain as much as like most other people, but I do think that
It's just
that would've
needlessly. It's
given
just
it-
needlessly bothersome.
yeah,
I figured that one.
I don't get it.
It's Katamari Damacy.
Katamari Damacy music.
Okay, so pay close
excited.
pay close attention to the rupee counter in the bottom right. So every time you try, it takes 5 rupees. So for most of these, it only took me a handful of tries. So I only needed to cut out like 1 or 2 attempts. When we get to the last attempt, you'll see that I jump from I'm at about 600 rupees right now to 50 or something ridiculous. It took me actually
Holy
took me
fuck.
actually 45 minutes in order to beat the last one, because there's a lot of curves like this and a lot of those different elevation-y ones in the bottom left. Also, when I recorded this, I hadn't played Katamari, but I have played it now, and it is a really fun goddamn game. I love it.
I have still
Yes,
not
I'm so
played the
happy.
game, but my my buddy Jacob, my roommate.
Yeah, see,
first year
I
of
lost
college,
400 rupees, so
Oh my
it took me
God.
80
Oh
attempts
my god.
to beat
That's-
this.
My buddy,
pretty
my roommate
bad.
Jacob, back in 2005, played the hell out of the game on
Aw.
the PS2. So I never played it, but I did hear the soundtrack a lot, and I fell in love.
I'm sad that the Katamari music is done.
Yeah, I am too.
I'm really disappointed. I'm so sad.
Yeah, this channel sucks.
We need to do one of those games at some point.
I would.
Hello, I'm right here. I'm right here. I know everything about those games.
Okay,
Okay then.
awesome. That saves
You're-
me
you're-
a good
you're-
8 hours.
You're signed up for it then.
Yay! I'm so down.